Morning, everybody. My name is Tim Harris. I'm the CEO of Wescrow, the official tourism, trade and investment promotion agency for Cape Town and the Western Cape, right here in South Africa. A hearty welcome to everyone at Taste South Africa for this virtual food and beverage mission to connect South African exporters to Russian and Eastern and Central European buyers. Hosted by Wescrow in collaboration with the South African embassies in Russia, Poland and Ukraine. And a special welcome and thank you to all of our South African exhibitors, to all of the Russian and Eastern and Central European importers, buyers, retailers, distributors, and wholesalers, as well as to all the guest speakers and panelists participating in the business webinar portion of the mission. Without you, this mission would not be possible. And we wish you the best of luck and hope for fruitful business discussions between producers and buyers. We also want to acknowledge the political principals in attendance, Ambassador Andrei Groenewald from the South African Embassy in Ukraine, Mr. Dan Stemmer, the Charge d'Affaires at the South African Embassy in Poland, and Mr. Moloko Leshaba, Minister Counselor at South African Embassy in Russia. Thank you all for the collaboration and support for this mission, and we look forward to further broadening our relationship with you to advance trade, investment, and tourism between the Western Cape here in South Africa and Eastern and Central Europe. As we adjust to what COVID-19 has done to the world and South Africa, our agency Wescrow is putting all of our efforts into economic recovery for the Western Cape. For this, our economic relationship with Russia and the wider Eastern and Central Europe become very important. Our focus for economic recovery links to our mandate as an agency to drive international investment into the Cape and support and facilitate the growth of exports from the Western Cape, but also to promote the province as a destination for international business and leisure tourism. And we're putting all of our efforts into upholding and strengthening these pillars of the economy, which we believe will be fundamental to the province's recovery. This is exactly why Wescrow's export team pivoted 2 Russian in-market trade exhibitions planned for 2020, World Food Moscow and Prod Expo Moscow, into a virtual alternative called Taste South Africa to ensure continued trade relations between the Western Cape and the wider Eastern Europe. Mr. Mikhail Fativ, the head of food and agriculture at the Russia-South Africa Business Council, stated in 2019 the Russian market is open for more South African food products. There's a big demand for South African products here, but like anywhere in the world, the South African companies need to up their ante with regards to their marketing efforts. They need to establish relations with the right people here, and their rates of success will be increased. So I think we all need to step up to that challenge, and Wescrow, through this virtual program, is responding to this call and aims to support current efforts by South African companies by opening more direct channels between producers and buyers. So a little bit more about who Wescrow is. We're the official marketing agency for the economy and the tourism offer here in the Cape. We're also a South African trade and investment promotion agency mandated to support economic growth and job creation. And we're working to drive international investment, facilitate the growth of exports from the Cape, and promote the Cape as a tourist destination. So focusing on exports, you can see this is our export profile in terms of the largest markets we serve with our product as the province of the Western Cape. The rest of our continent is our largest market, 47 billion rands worth of exports, followed by Europe with 37 billion rand. But the top half of this graph shows the growth rates, the regions that are growing faster. And it's interesting that our traditional markets represent the lowest average annual growth rates, with smaller markets such as Asia, the Americas, and Oceania experiencing higher growth of between 3 and 4%. So these are our largest export partners at a nation level globally, the top 10. You can see number 1 is Namibia, followed by the UK, USA, Netherlands, and Botswana. The exports to Namibia is quite an interesting story because it's heavily dominated by crude oil imports, which we refine at our refinery here near Cape Town Port and export as petroleum to Namibia. But it's also about the free trade agreement we have long had with Namibia and the free immigration of people. It's a story about trade liberalization really boosting exports and trade performance. But the third interesting part of the story is how much of that product is actually transshipped into Angola, one of our major growth stories on the continent, happening at the end of that West Coast corridor from the Western Cape through Namibia to Angola. And I think it's an encouraging story about African growth and trade liberalization, helping to grow exports from the Western Cape. Our export basket is dominated by agricultural products, as you'll see on the next slide. And if we continued the list from 10, you would see Russia ranks as the Western Cape's 14th largest export market, with the Western Cape exporting about 1.2 billion rands worth of goods to that market in 2019. But obviously, given the size of Russia, as well as the other BRICS partners, we're targeting Russia as one of Wescro's 8 key European target regions for the next 5 years. Another key European target region is Poland, even though this market's only currently our 73rd largest export market with about 150 million rands worth of goods exported every year. We note that it's one of the best performing economies in Europe, and we note its strategic importance in Eastern Europe. So looking at the products that we trade, we're dominant with exports in agri-products. 7 of our top 10 exports are agricultural, but you can see the importance of petroleum and oil products topping the tables as really high value traded products. Agriculture will always remain a key focus of our export promotion team, but our challenge is really to develop other key export sectors such as services, manufacturing, textiles, green industry, and boat building by leveraging the success of our agri performance. And let's talk a little bit about that agricultural export performance. If you measure Western Cape exports as one of the 9 provinces of South Africa, our performance alone in agricultural goods would make us the 5th largest exporter measured against other countries across the whole of Africa. So a significant continental performance by our small province, worth 64 billion rands worth of exports in agriculture every year from the Western Cape. That means effectively we're contributing 2/3 of South Africa's beverage exports, 50% of all of South African agriculture, 86% of South Africa's fish exports, and 40% of food, beverage, and tobacco products as a whole. Amongst those exports are about 1 million bottles of South African wine. That makes us the Western Cape the 8th largest wine producer in the world. We're responsible for about 4% of the wine produced globally. And obviously that wine is a key branding platform for us as shelves of supermarkets and tables enjoy the best of Western Cape wine. It's a huge marketing opportunity for the rest of what the province offers. But looking at growing wine exports, we recently, in the midst of the COVID crisis, created something called the Cape Export Network in conjunction with Wines of South Africa, that is the dedicated wine export agency for South Africa. It's right now the only dedicated business-to-business marketplace for South African wines. You'll be able to not only see the wine producers that we're going to profile in Taste South Africa, but a wide range of South African producers, up to 100 right now on the site. You can visit it at www.capeexportnetwork.co.za to experience and enjoy more of South Africa's beautiful wines. So digging into trade with Russia, you can see we have a relatively balanced trade performance between the Western Cape and Russia, a positive trade balance to our advantage in the last 10 years. And the Western Cape exports just over 2 billion rands worth of goods in 2019, while importing just under 550 million. So that's overall a positive trade balance of 1.6 billion. Here's a view on the types of goods that we're trading between the Western Cape and Russia. Again, dominated by the agri exports, led by citrus, followed by apples, pears, quinces, wine, grapes, jams, fruit jellies, and marmalade. And I think you'll find that the 10 exporters we're profiling at Taste South Africa match this profile. You'll be meeting producers of wines, of dried fruits, of nuts, rooibos and honeybush tea, as well as exporters of salt, sauces, food flavoring, and jams. So with that, I wanted to thank everybody for participating and attending. Thanks to the team at Wescro, who together with the South African embassies in Russia, Ukraine, and Poland, as well as with our consultant partners, Profex Group and Capitalize, we're working hard to put this platform and mission together and bring relevant insights and expertise to both the South African and Eastern and Central European business communities. We hope everybody has a great experience and gains valuable market intelligence as we grow this relationship from strength to strength. Thank you.